Support for this podcast comes from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, connecting communities with the resources, infrastructure, and networks to ensure a vibrant local free press.
From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. It's Thursday, June 25th. I'm Sarith Hawk. School's out, but the kitchen is still open. Young students in Fresno are getting a lesson in cooking and Hmong traditions.
Instead of just say, no, don't come to the kitchen. I'm like, why don't we spend that time bonding together and teach and pass on my skills? Because we're losing our own identity. We're losing our own dish, right?
Coming up, we go inside that kitchen where food, language, and culture are mixing for a rich recipe. But first, these news headlines. A rural area of Northern California experienced its strongest earthquake since 1940 yesterday. The U.S. Geological Survey recorded a magnitude 5.6 earthquake about 140 miles northeast of San Francisco in the town of Willits. The quake caused only mild shaking and no immediate reports of damage or injuries. It was felt widely, including in the fishing city of Fort Bragg. The USGS says the quake was about 5 miles deep. A former homeless shelter along Fresno's Parkway Drive corridor will soon be transformed into affordable housing units. Davu Village means new beginnings in Somali culture. It had its groundbreaking ceremony yesterday. Fresno City Council member Miguel Arias says it will be transformed into 62 apartment housing units aimed for individuals transitioning out of homelessness or those at risk.
We're surrounded by poverty, and when there's poverty, there's always a demand for housing, even substandard housing, and there's always a profit to be made, even by those who with the least ability to pay.
The project comes from a partnership between the City of Fresno, the County of Fresno, Fresno Housing, and local nonprofits. Davu Village is funded by a $25 million award in federal and state tax credits. It's projected to be completed by fall of 2027. Dead fish, shrinking lakes, and a shared water system are at the center of a legal dispute in a Madera County neighborhood. Residents say it's left the future of their community in limbo. Rosita Ventura Gomez, with our news partner, the Merced Focus, has this report.
About 900 homes in Churchill's Green Hill Estates are built around man-made lakes and a golf course. Residents say they have watched lake conditions decline, with mass fish die-offs causing foul odors in the community. The Green Hills Homeowner Association is suing the Water Resource Council and other parties, alleging fraud, mismanagement, and breach of fiduciary duty. The Water Resource Council, on the other hand, says Green Hills has stopped paying its share of costs. The Water Council says the HOA owes more than $110,000 for lake maintenance and well repairs. Earlier this month, a Madera County judge allowed key claims, including civil theft and public nuisance, to proceed. The case is expected to last into 2027. I'm Rosita Ventura Gomez.
The Bakersfield City School District Board has voted unanimously to rename Cesar Chavez Elementary School after the downfall of the civil rights icon earlier this spring. According to KERO, the school will be renamed to Helen F. Chavez Elementary after Chavez's wife. The change comes after public comments from Cesar Chavez's granddaughter, Barbara Ibarra, who urged trustees to recognize Helen's role as a farm worker and co-architect of the UFW movement. Board members plan to implement the change this August.
Explore the history of the people and places of our region with KVPR's Central Valley Roots. I'm the host, Joe Moore. Every new episode, I bring you little-known stories of our region. Find the latest episode of Central Valley Roots wherever you get your podcasts, or visit kvpr.org/roots.
And now to our main story. As the school year comes to an end, some Fresno students are staying in the classroom, but instead of math and science, they're learning how to cook traditional Hmong cuisine. Esther Quintanilla, with our newsroom partner, the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, brings us into the kitchen where young chefs are taking a lesson.
Christy Zhang gives a warm welcome to her students in their traditional Hmong language. As they pour into a conference room set up with cooking stations with bowls and spoons, she tells them to grab an apron and wash their hands. Zhang puts on a microphone pack and turns on Zen piano music to keep her young chefs at bay.
Because we need calm music. We need to relax, right? So we can do that.
This class is called Taste of Tradition. It takes place once a month for a year at the nonprofit A Hopeful Encounter in central Fresno. The city is home to the second largest Hmong community in the U.S. Students from elementary to high school learn to cook authentic and simple Hmong foods, like egg rolls and sweet pork. Zhang says it's a way to carry on traditions and build generational bonds.
Instead of just say, no, don't come to the kitchen. I'm like, why don't we spend that time bonding together and teach and pass on my skills? Because we're losing our own identity. We're losing our own dish, right?
She sprinkles phrases in both English and Hmong throughout the class. She says the language is at risk of disappearing after decades of assimilation. In today's class, 8 to 11-year-old chefs are making a sweet treat. It's coconut sticky rice with the purple yam known as taro, wrapped neatly inside a banana leaf and grilled. Zhang gathers steamed rice, coconut milk, salt, sugar, mashed taro, and banana leaves.
Hey, are we excited?
Yeah!
Good.
Hmong immigrants came to the U.S. after the Vietnam War in the 1970s. Over 200,000 Hmong people fled their home country, Laos, as political refugees. Because of military alliances, the U.S. government allowed them to resettle in America. Today, an estimated 360,000 Hmong people live in the U.S., with a third in California. Over 80,000 call the Valley their home.
Okay, let's say sticky rice.
Wow.
Great job.
After Zhang's done demonstrating, she sends the students to their stations, like 10-year-old Evelyn.
Now we're going to put some purple yam.
She's focusing hard on getting the fold just right.
Now I'm going to fold it and make it like the triangle shape.
Is the fold hard here?
Yeah, it's pretty tricky here, but if you keep doing it, you'll finally get the hang of it.
After nailing her fold, 8-year-old Yulia is beaming with excitement.
These remind me of a lily pad.
Just like that. Yeah, it looks like that, huh?
They place the pockets onto a hot griddle, where Susan Zhang, no relation to Christy, takes over. The room slowly fills with warm, earthy aromas. Zhang says this dish makes her feel like she's in Laos.
When you're eating it, you have this sensation of oh my gosh, it's so sweet in my mouth, but the smell of it smells so like soul food kind of.
Zhang's daughter is the one taking the class, but she feels like she's learning too. The biggest thing, it brings their culture to the forefront, so it won't be forgotten as generations pass.
They get to come here and they get to learn things that I won't be able to teach them, but I know that yes, this is part of our culture.
That's one reason why this class is in high demand. Christy Zhang says they have a wait list every year. Classes for next year open up in the fall. With the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative for KVPR, I'm Esther Quintanilla.
And Esther Quintanilla joins me now in the studio to talk about her reporting. Hey, Esther.
Hey, Sreeth.
So tell us, how did this class get started?
Yeah, so this is actually the second year that this class is going. It started up last year and they've saw a lot of really great responses from their community, so they decided to do it again. And it was created by Christy Zhang, who we hear in the story after the organization wanted to do some more outreach and additional support for their youth. It's a year-long program and it happens once a month. Students get to learn the history about the dish that they're about to make, and they learn how to say its name in Hmong and learn step-by-step how to cook it alongside instruction in both English and Hmong. So it's free for all students and all of the supplies and ingredients are provided by the org.
Wow, so cool. But it's really popular, though, because there's apparently a wait list to get in. How tough is it to get enrolled into this class?
Yeah, the response to this class was really incredible. Christy Zhang was saying that for the last enrollment period, they had over 100 applications who were interested in getting into the class. So They can only accommodate around 40 due to how expensive, the ingredients and supplies are. But they wish that they could accommodate everyone who was interested. And they really hope to expand it in the future because of how popular it is. It's really filling a need within the Hmong community, and they really want to keep going with it.
And are these classes tailored to different age groups, or does everyone take the same class?
There are different classes for each age group. In the story, we hear from, the younger chefs who are 8 to 11. But there's also like an additional class for older chefs who are 12 to 18. And Christy Zhang really does her best to simplify everything down so that the younger kids get all of the instruction and are engaged and can learn basic skills without it being too overwhelming. And then for the older chefs, that's where they get down to the nitty-gritty and learn a little bit more about the history and the actual like cooking style, and all those really great things that can make cooking a little bit more engaging. So both classes cook the same dish. In the story, we hear them cooking coconut sticky rice, but they've also cooked spring rolls, rice noodles from scratch, all different sorts of Hmong foods. And some are more challenging than others, but students say that Christy does a really great job of walking them through that process. And at the end of the day, they feel like they've learned a whole lot.
Yeah, I love that there are instructions in both English and Hmong. And, in the piece, it's mentioned that the Hmong language is at risk of disappearing. Why is that the case?
Yeah, so if you don't know much about Hmong history, they have a really rich history here in the U.S. They came in the 1970s as refugees from the Vietnam War. And over the last 50 years, they've created these vibrant communities all across the country, but especially here in the Valley. In all that time, pressures from past generations to assimilate to American culture have really discouraged the Hmong language from being passed down because they really wanted their kids to speak English and, be one with the culture that we have here.
Yeah.
And that sentiment has changed a little bit over the years, and the Hmong have been working really hard to fill those language gaps in their communities. Here locally, Fresno Unified has created a Hmong immersion program after seeing how much the community wanted their language to be taught and preserved as a way to, bring it back. So this class, in a way, is expanding that mission just so they can preserve that language and continue passing it on.
Yeah, and, alongside the language, the class also appears to help students connect more with their cultural heritage. Why is food such an important conduit for that connection?
Yeah, I think everyone at some level can point to food as being a significant part of their own personal identity. I think it's one of those things that in this world that no matter the language, no matter the culture, everyone can appreciate something delicious being put on their plate. And you can really see the passion in the kids and the instructor. Chrissy Zhang specifically started in the kitchen back when she was a kid, cooking with her dad. And they would share stories and talk about their traditions and have a lot of laughs and a lot of love with their cooking. And that really deepened her connection with the food that they were making. And that's really what sparked this class and the idea behind it. So I think, food is such a special way of sharing culture and identity. And it goes beyond just, the individual in a lot of ways.
Right. And it transcends age groups, too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what did you hear from parents and other students about their experiences in the class?
Yeah, we don't get to hear much from the older chefs in the story, but I did get a chance to speak with them during their class. A lot of them took the class last year and decided to, take it again this year just because of how much they loved it. Emily Moa specifically, she's one of the teens that I spoke to, started cooking more often at home because of this class. She had all the skills built up throughout the course and then took it back home and started cooking her traditional foods for her parents.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, the way that she described it was really lovely. She was saying that, before I would only really want to go to McDonald's or I would ask my parents to, go buy me food. But now my parents are asking me to cook them a dish. And
wow.
It's such an interesting turn of tradition and passing down the baton that I think a lot of people can appreciate. So she was saying that, she has really loved it just because she's gotten to learn a little bit more about her cultural heritage, but also has gotten a little bit more practice in being a little bit more dependent as she's going into adulthood. And of course, it gives her parents a break at cooking dinner for the night. So yeah, it's been a really, good way of teaching teens how to, be a little bit more independent as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't mind that. So, well, Esther Quintanilla, reporter for the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. What a great story. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarith.
And that's today's show. Today's episode was produced by Esther Quintanilla, Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado, and KVPR, with support from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. I'm Sarith Hawk. Find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
Each story you hear on Planet Money starts with a question. What happens if we refund tariffs? Why are groceries so expensive? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious, because the forces shaping our world can be hard to see. Follow NPR's Planet Money wherever you get your podcasts and start seeing how the economy really works.